screen.
Yep, we're live.
All right.
Bart's still getting set up, everybody. We're a little bit early, but he came in early.
You can, I'm going to mute myself. I go do the pop outs.
All right. He's muting himself a little early there, like there's radio interference.
Yep. Sorry, I muted. My finger was hovering, and then apparently I'm so weak that the finger couldn't hover any longer.
While Bart is muted, I'll point out to everybody that's watching that yesterday was Bart's birthday. He survived another year older. Let's see. Let's go through the little roll call here. See who all's in. Tom R is here. Cato, Fight for Sound. Daniel Willis. Daniel Willis came out in Oklahoma City the other night. Ran down there, met up with Swami. He was in town. Jared Gibbs also came by, and a couple of Daniel brought a couple of his buddies out, Curtis and Jonathan. Went and did some whiskey shopping. Went to a mesquite grilled restaurant that's called Whiskey Cake. Very nice whiskey restaurant. Good food. Probably the best hamburger I've ever had in my life. Graham Young is here. Bourbon Shenanigans. Louis Sanchez. Travis Faircloth. Now it jumped on me there a little bit. Brolic Whiskey. Box of Quality. Santa Cruzin. Shimon is here. Andrew, the Mash and Drum. Quick shout out to the Mash and Drum is Jason C. You've seen him tune in a lot on our shows. He was here big time on the 12 Hours of Boom, won one of the giveaways. Jason C. has started up his own YouTube channel now called the Mash and Drum. Just posted his first review of Jefferson's Ocean Voyage weeded whiskey. So give that a look. Yeah.
Very nice.
Stephen Lang is here. Loch Ness. Julia Photography. Hi, Julia. Louis Sanchez. I think I said Lana Lou is here.
Lana Lou. Hold on. Look at this. Lana Lou. If you can see that, that is the design that she designed for the Tampa Bay Scotch Society. Did I say that right? Society, yes. Whiskey. Tampa Bay Whiskey Society.
You met up with I was just talking about Oklahoma City and meeting up with Daniel Willis, and you were in Tampa and met up with Lana Lou.
Yes, Lana Lou, her husband Garth. We went to a restaurant called The Haven, which I learned a lot about cheese there as well. And they had very good whiskey.
George Kaplan is here. Richie Z. Apple Chili. Hey, Apple Chili. Haven't seen you tune in before. Santa Cruzin, I said. V Rich.
You and Lana are going to get along good. She's more in line with your palate.
Good. And she smokes cigars, I hear.
Yes, she does. Yes.
We will burn a cigar or two in October.
Bam.
Let's talk about, and for those just coming in late, yesterday was Bart's birthday.
Woohoo!
Happy birthday, Bart. Another year older.
Thank you.
October 19th and 20th. We need to start pushing that a little bit here coming up. We haven't too much. Our 5-year anniversary / birthday. We are having a gathering here in Wichita, Kansas on October 19th and 20th. Friday night, we're having a steak dinner and a tasting with the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society. Yeah. Ben is coming in from Chicago, and we get to help pick out what whiskeys he's going to bring. So we haven't done that yet.
It will end with a peated, I guarantee that.
Yeah. Probably, I'm sure a cast strength peated as well.
Yeah.
Saturday night, a little bit more of a casual hangout. Saturday day will be a free hangout and just sit around, have some drinks. After 5 o'clock Saturday night, it'll become a ticketed event. We've got a barbecue meal lined up, live music, and hopefully some whiskey samples from some booths that a distributor will set up. So
now, real quick, Apple Chili here says, long-time viewer, first-time subscriber. Happy born day, Bart. Boom.
There you go.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
Yeah, Lana Lou, SMWS. I gave her a little sneak peek on that. She was like, what? We were in Haven. We were in this real nice restaurant. She said, oh, my God. And then my family had no idea what SMWS meant. So they're like, what's Lana excited about? You know? And I'm like, well, it's a very nice independent bottler, cast strength. And they were like, we don't know what that means. So yeah, that was good. That was good.
More details are up on that, though, on our website. Go to scotchtestdummies.com and click on the events tab. And there's a separate page for the 5th anniversary. So, you know, I'm gonna touch on, you've got the Willetts at your place. I didn't have that. We've since also posted the Springbank 12. Right. Some mixed reactions on that one. I'm gonna pour it a little bit, and then we're gonna move on to, both of us have the Balvenie 14-year Peat Week from this year. So.
Yes, Richie Z wants to know if that's a black and white manga shirt. If I stand up, you're going to get to see the full effect. Look at that. Dude's like turning into I don't know if he's turning into a grizzly bear werewolf thing or if that's just in the background. I don't know. I think he's got the spirit of the werewolf in him.
That was way more time regarding that shirt than what we needed.
No, Richie Z wanted to know. The fans want to know. I'm bringing the manga back, baby.
Now I'm going to drink out. We did the Balvenie Peat Week today, and we could not mention our merchandising. And you wanted to talk about our new rocks glasses.
Yeah,
and we couldn't because we weren't referencing any of our merchandise. So that's what I'm drinking out of, though. You can find those on ScotchTestDummies.com.
They look cool. They're subtle and understated, is what I like about them.
Yeah. Let me talk here. Bring them up. Boom. We got shots glasses on order as well now. All right, Springbank 12.
I don't ever use shot glasses. I know they're collectors and people like them and stuff. I just don't use them.
All right, so Springbank 12, you're going to have the Willet 4-year rye.
Mm-hmm.
Some people said we needed to give the Springbank time and let it open up. I've gone back to it a few times now, and I just took a sip. It's still funky.
I'm hoping after a month or two, I'll try it. Ooh, and who cut Bart's hair? Yeah, this is day 2 of the haircut. I like to bring it down short, so I know it's a little bit like real short. My boy said, man, you got more forehead. Yes, I do. And I didn't wear a hat. I'm like, whoop, whoop, but I like it in tight. It's hot. It's hot.
Tom R says I must have found $90 for my own bottle. No, this was the one that I bought for the review. Our store actually, Bart now has 2 bottles from our store. So
I bought one for myself, and then lo and behold, my wife got me one for my birthday. Cocktail Maven's in. Hey, Cocktail Maven.
I like a Loch Ness's comment up top. I don't know if you saw that. He says you look like a zebra.
Usually I get told giraffe. That's what Lana said. Lana ran into me. He's like, you're like a giraffe. I'm like, what?
Actually, he says it's like a zebra giving birth is what he says. Now, speaking of Lana saying you're tall.
Yes.
So we're in Oklahoma City the other night, meet up with Swami. Jared Gibbs was emailing us. We thought OJ for Hire was going to be there as well. He was out of town. Daniel Willis, he lives there in OKC. He's emailing. So he has a nice little hidey hole whiskey shop called Freeman's. So we arranged to meet him there at 8 o'clock. So we come pulling up, and I get out of the car, and he's standing out front, and he goes, "You're the little guy?"
Because you're not really that little.
Because I'm not that little. No.
Right.
He goes, "Bart's always calling you the little guy." I go, "Bart's 6'6".
Yeah, big fella. We need to break out some cowbell for the mash and drum.
Yep, for the mash and drum. Thanks for the shout out, fellas. You guys are the best in the biz. Happy birthday, Ard Bart.
Boom, Ard Bart. I got to mention there, I was shocked that Claire the Third said my haircut was bad. I thought he'd finally have some love for me. I thought he was going to start buying his own manga shirts, cut his hair short, wear cowboy hats. That's what I thought.
Travis Faircloth is checking on the mileage to Wichita. He says it's about a 19-hour drive. That's at 55 miles an hour, though. Nobody drives that.
You got to go with 67. Got to push a little bit.
Cocktail Maven says she's at a bartender's competition. She can't hear a thing. She's just making up words for what she thinks we're saying.
Perfect.
The Springbank 12 is still just funky to me. I don't get peat. I don't get sherry. It tastes, to me, it actually tastes like an unpeated, funky Bunnahabhain.
We need to get a little sample of somebody else that says it's got all that stuff and see how it compares.
We got several comments on it that it's, I think, 70% peated or sherry cask and 30% ex-bourbon.
Wow. Oh, and I'll tell Claire, if I shave this, my hair will get mad and just won't come back. So my other option is to let it go long and do the comb over. But I'm good with it. Yeah, Hemphill. I was surprised how tall Scott was in the photo. Bart is just really tall. That's right. Yeah, maybe you got a corked bottle. Sure.
Yeah, that's what we've gotten in comments from a couple people on it. And this is the 56.5%. I think this is actually last year's.
There you go. Thanks, Lana.
And a lot of people had this year's, which they said, and we had several comments that this year's was better. I think it's 56.3%. So
the bold Stephen Lang wants we need the bold sexy dummies. Well, you can get bold. I don't know about sexy.
Hey, you're one half there. Just one half of the sexy.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, what was that? I hadn't seen that. Richie Z. There was just more stuff there. It was whether or not we wanted to show or hide it. I've never seen that before.
For what?
On mine, it looked like because of all the at Donner Pass whiskey, it had a little option to hide the message.
Oh yeah, I turned that on to get questionable comments to approve them before they post.
Beautiful. I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling my wife they managed to come up with a little blue pill that works magic. They need like a little red pill that grows hair on your head again. And that'd be another $1 billion pharmaceutical hit. Woohoo! First we got the blue pill, now we got one that grows hair back on the head. Old men unite. Oh, yeah.
Loch Ness wants more information on the Balvenie Peat Week. He's going to have to stay tuned. We're both going to move to that. You got the Willet. Let's talk about the Willet a little bit. I'm going to let the Springbank sit here and keep getting funkier.
Well, I was waiting to see, and there's still a bit of that orange on there, but I didn't bring any water to bring her down. Yeah. So it's got a all spicy open, and there's still, I would swear there's shavings of orange rind on here. It's got that orange zest touch to it, and that's not in here. And I don't know why that comes out. Of course, we've had pear before, but there's no, it's 53.6. There's nothing added in here, and it gives a lot of orange citrusy flavors. And even in the finish, I wouldn't say the taste is there, but it feels like somebody's like peeling an orange in the room. You get that citric orange scent that floats around. That's kind of what's going around. So what are you smiling at? A comment?
Luis Sanchez is telling you to get a Scott and a Luis Sanchez haircut because he's bald too. So
yeah, blue and red pills. Are you ready, Neo? Love that. I showed that to the boy the other day. He loved it.
Oh, really?
He did. He was getting into time travel weird stuff, and I know it's not really time travel.
Has he been able to watch the Terminator yet?
The
original.
I discussed it with him, and I don't know if I want to start him off with the original or I need to watch it again. I can't remember. I think it's just language. I know the Terminator 2 is really actually not that bad.
Yeah, they actually cleaned it up a little bit. The first one, when Arnold comes back, he punches the guy. Actually, it was one of the guys at nighttime. I forget what it's called. Punches the guy in the chest, pulls his heart out. Real brief. You kind of see it.
Okay.
And then it shows him picking on his eye which was totally bad 3D animatronics at the time.
Right. Yeah. But I don't remember. I don't think there's nudity or anything in Terminator 1.
Oh, yeah. First one. Yeah. There's the sex scene with Sarah and
God, I didn't remember it. Okay. I'm going to have to watch
any names now.
I know. He wants to see it because he's seen like Terminator 6 or whatever. And then all those timelines get jacked up. So he's intrigued.
Frank Lampard wants to know if I saw that Plaza has Delilah's 25th. I've already got 3 bottles of that, Frank.
Yeah, he went crazy on it. We'll be reviewing that soon.
Yeah, we need to get that one.
Are we going to film that tomorrow?
Yeah, we could.
Yeah,
we got a couple others. We got a couple bottles that have been sent to us from Super Scotch Gods that we need to knock out as well.
I sampled both of those, and one of them was exquisite.
Well, we've got real quick. So the Benny's exclusive Compass box was sent to us by a Super Scotch God fan, and then the Japanese Hibiki Harmony.
Right. Now, Frank wants to know, is the Delilah's good? I don't know if you're going to give him a hint or not.
Well, I would say yes, but you'll have to stay tuned for more information on that.
There you go. That's perfect. It is good. Tune in for the real details. They would stay for the manga shirts anyway. At least Frank.
I like Lana Lou says she likes the first Delilah's. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I took that at first. She was saying she liked it better than the new 25th anniversary. I don't know if that's what she's saying or not. I do like this one better than the first edition of the Delilah's. This one is sherry cast and where the first one wasn't.
Nice. Is that first edition of Delilah's behind you open or no?
That one, no.
Okay. Gotcha. No. I know you had one. It's probably gone.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Long time ago.
So this Willet is pretty good. It's a really good rye with an orange twist. It's not the rye I'm used to, is what I can say. But it was good, great value. I keep hearing bad things about the Willet bourbon.
The pot still one.
Yep. I even had a coworker come up to me at work and say, "Hey man, I got some kind of new bourbon. They make rye, but it's been around, but it's new here." I go, "Willet?" He goes, "Oh my God, how did you?" I couldn't remember the name. That's it. Then I said, "That's something for me." Scott's usually the guy that can pull the name out of the hat, but I'm like, the only thing you could have been describing is Willet. Now he really liked it, but he literally, after talking to me, just stepped away from like Crown with vanilla, and he also used to have some hot damn. I'm like, dude, you need to try it. That's all good, drink it whatever way you want, but try some stuff without some flavorings in it. And so he's diving in, which is good. So I'm not going to nail him on anything.
Julia says that this conversation is making her thirsty, and there's only one thing to do about that, Julia.
Yeah.
Sorachi Ace is asking if myself and Whiskey Scout went back and got more of the Four Roses down in Oklahoma City on the north end. For the first time, I seen the store picks of the Four Roses single barrel, and it was the OESV recipe, 56.8%, I think it was. Whiskey Scout picked one up, and we popped it open when we met up with Swami. It was pretty darn tasty. And then we went whiskey shopping, and they had it there as well at Freeman's, but I picked up a couple of other bottles that took my money away from me.
Now, I want to ask you some more questions on that, but I think Robert Horowitz's question is really good. How would you guys compare Macallan Select Cut to the Aberlour Abunad? Ooh, yeah. To say Glenlivet Nadura, obviously not the peated cask.
Be the sherry cask.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the sherry cask there. Are those good comparisons?
We're going to have to. That will come out when we do our sherry. Those will all be, we'll have to pick up. I'd forgot about the Glenlivet Nadura sherry cask. We'll have to pick up a bottle of that and throw in there.
Yep, that'll have to be in there since we had their peated version in.
But we've got the Macallan, the classic cut is in there. And then, see, I've got 2 batches of the Abuna, and I was wondering, should we use both batches in there as well?
You had better pronunciation than me, too. Abuna. It kind of disappears.
Yeah, the D is actually silent. Right. Abuna, I think, is actually what it is.
Abuna?
I was used to saying Abunad.
I know, it sounds cool.
Yeah. Abunad?
Abuna.
Okay. I think I think that word has multiple uses. Remember? Like you could, like if you cut, ow, Abunad.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it could be a question like, Abunad?
Abunad? Or it could be dirty. Abunad.
Even during the haircut, I was like, Abunad. Abunad.
Well, it's what I picked up. So I did pick up.
Wow, look at those shorts. Kind of matches the Android head.
I was surprised. I hadn't seen this. This had been around for a long time, and it was cheap. I'd never seen it on a shelf for a 25-year.
Yeah.
And they had it $145. So, yeah, I was like, that one for sure is going with me.
That's good.
So I picked up a Glendronach 18 Allardyce to go with it.
Richies want to know if the Glenfarclas is in the Sherry Shootout. I'm sure, but we haven't picked yet, and that is the Merry Sherry Christmas.
Well, we'll have the 105 for sure. Maybe this 25 makes it in there. Now, will it just be cast? I think there might be cast strength, and then we'll probably have a couple of under 50s as well.
Wow, that would be good.
I mean, I think it worked out good on the Pete Shootout. We just did. We threw everything in there. We had some cast strengths, and we had some other. I think you just have to recognize it. And
Donner Pass said the same thing I did. Wow, the shorts match the shirt.
Yeah. I noticed that too, and I was getting dressed. It's like that Granimals.
That's right. He's got them coded. We're going to put out our own dummy line of clothing, and they'll all be tagged by number. That would probably sell, actually. That in the cookbook. Oh, man. That's funny. Oh, my God.
You know, the Springbank, I'm getting a touch of peat in it now, but a little bit of like a honey powdered sugar sweetness and funk.
Yeah, the funk is what kept popping up on me. Any thoughts? Yeah. A lot of loose dying.
Any thoughts on the Glenfarclas 15? I haven't had the Glenfarclas 15. I do like the 12-year-old. And then Maximiliano had also asked earlier about I think it was the Springbank 15, which we haven't had either. We could possibly do a cast strength round and then a lower proof round of the sherries.
Yeah. If we get enough, let's give them their due. We can have a second Sherry Merry Christmas that's weaker.
Richie Z, the Sherry Shootout will be after the Kansas gathering. It'll probably be a Sherry Merry Sherry Christmas, December Shootout.
Yep, December-ish is what we're looking at. Should be fun. So, yeah, people are asking about the funk, and some are saying they didn't get funk in theirs. And, yeah, we both got a funk in there, a little.
Yeah, it's very, not even a little.
Yeah, a sourness. We're hoping it works its way out.
We'll have the Glengoyne cask strength in there. Maybe the 18. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. We still got to piece that together. Hey, I wanted to throw out, I know most of our folks in here are super Scotch gods anyway. I am literally down off of I've been sending out when we get new Patreon fans. And we had our thank you cards when we hit 1 million viewers, and I'm down to 6 cards. And then we won't have any more until we put out our Christmas cards that we're going to do every year. This time I'll order a bunch so the new fans coming in will get Christmas cards throughout 2019. And that's kind of cool because I've been sending them out every time we get a new Super Scotch God on Patreon. And they're just about gone.
V-Rich says the Springbank might have more funk because it came from New Jersey. Jason Fisk is asking if we'll have the Glendronach cask strength in the shootout. If we had a bottle of it, yes, I would love to have that one in there. I've only had a sample of it in the past.
Yeah, Go Habs had some funk in his too.
To Claire on Springbank, I love Springbank. We have the Springbank 10. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great, it's expensive for a 10-year-old, but it's very good. It's very well done. I have a 20-year-old single cask Springbank that's delicious. It's an ex-bourbon cask. And I have, we have the Hazelburn 13 Oloroso, which is, you know, Springbank, delicious. And then the 13-year Long Row Malbec finish from Springbank as well, which is delicious. But this 12 cask strength Springbank just doesn't do it.
We need to do a little family shootout with the Springbanks all together. That'd be a good one. I believe somebody asked if the Tam Douche will probably be in the
yeah, and that's another one because I've got batch 1 and batch 2 right now. Do we use both of those and put them in there just to add get the bottle count up?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we might have a hard time. I don't think we're gonna have a hard time getting the bottle count up. But yeah, I definitely would want the Tam Dew in there. What else is going on? So tell me a little bit more about these stops you made. So you hit several stores, and then there was a little hidey hole.
Yeah, we hit a couple small towns on the way to Oklahoma City. Me and Whiskey Scout. The small towns didn't really have anything. And then once we got on the north end of Oklahoma City and Edmond, that's where we finally started finding some stuff. And then the shop Freeman's that Daniel Willis took us to is probably the best selection of whiskeys. Both are all Canadians, Americans, Irish, Scotch.
Really?
Yeah, it was a very nice store. Very nice.
Wow. So that sounds awesome.
And it doesn't look it from the outside. When we met there, I was kind of like, wow, this is your go-to spot. And once you get inside, though, and it's back in you got to kind of go by the wines and everything. And you get back in the corner, and that's where all the whiskeys are at.
Huh. So you did find a few dusty bottles around, though?
Yeah.
Sweet. I figured you might even call me at some point and say, hey, I found this. You want to spend your money on it? But no calls. No calls.
You were celebrating, so I didn't want to bother you.
There you go. You were like, yeah, I figured you would have called me and said, you want to buy this one just because your money started to run out.
Actually, we found the new Elijah Craig barrel proof, and Whiskey Scout's tuning in here. He goes, do you want to get one for Bart? And I go, nope, he didn't come.
See, there we go. I knew I'd get punished. It was my birthday and first it was going to be Friday at noon, and then that was off, and then it was Saturday on my birthday. And I talked to my wife about doing that, and I got a raised eyebrow because you're going to be gone all day on your birthday. Sounds like interesting. Then it switched back to Friday, but it was going to be late Friday, and I'm like, I can't do that. My wife's got some plans.
Yeah, we actually got back even later than I was planning. It was 1:30 in the morning before we got back.
See, and that's what she was saying. Even if, I would have then wrecked my Saturday for the birthday, which was true. So, yeah, I figured at the very least you would call going, okay, I've spent my money allotted, but there is a couple other dusty bottles I'm sure you want to buy. And I would have said yes. But when I got no call, I was like, Bruno ain't calling because he's like, you could have come.
That's right. That's what I told Scout too.
Yep. Next time he'll come if we don't buy him stuff while we're out here. See, that's what happened. That's what happened.
And the Scotch for Dummies are surprised you're not up in Indianapolis this weekend.
Yeah, Gen Con, baby.
Yep.
Man,
Gen Con.
Yeah, I even had an invite. One of the publishers said, hey, man, I'll put your name on one of our, I don't know what they call it, employee booth guys. You'll get in free. You just got to do your own hotel. And I was like, man, I can't make it. I just did a 2-weeker, and there's no way. So, but I would love to. I've never been to Gen Con. So Gen Con, for those that don't know, is like the largest gaming convention in the world. It beats Essen in Germany, which is probably number 2 for the largest.
Blah, 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 blah.
There we go. There we go. Hey, I didn't bring it up.
You know, one thing, you pulled your bottle out there at the Balvenie 14-year Peat Week.
Yes.
One thing we didn't point out, they put it in a darker glass.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not the usual Balvenie clear glass.
Yeah, you're right. They peat smoked it.
Yeah.
Even the glass is peat smoked during peat week, baby. Just so you don't get confused. They want to make sure you know what you're buying when you grab one of these peat weeks off the shelf.
And Mark Brown is tuning in. He says his son will be working Gen Con as a judge.
Ooh, very cool. What I wonder what he's judging. There's a lot of judging going on. They do a lot of different things.
Claire the Third had posted a picture on Twitter earlier as well. He was heading in to get his new batch of the Joseph Magnus cigar blend. So he says he's got it, and it's really good.
I thought he was chiming in on Gen Con.
So I'm going to pour. I've got the Springbank here. I'm going to go ahead and pour a little bit of the Balvenie.
Oh, Eric Gilbert spelled bored is in like boredom. Come on, Eric. Come on. My boy and I actually were in here a little late because Scott was like, hey, man, I know it's a little impromptu, but do you want to do a show tonight? And I said, I'd love to. But my son and I were actually playing a game, and, man, were we bonding. That's my 11-year-old. We were having a great time.
Good.
Yeah, real good stuff. That's what I would say if gaming in general, if you got a family, you got especially kids that are younger kids, even 7, 8, all the way up into teens. It's a great way to gather around the table, turn off the electronics. Here, show your glass. I'll quit talking. Do it again.
That's right. Yeah, you were talking, but yeah. So I poured the Balvenie again. Do a little bit of merchandising. Go to scotchtestdummies.com and you can get our new rocks glasses.
There you go. Point being said, time spent with the kids. I know you do occasionally things like that with your kids, and it's just good together time.
So the Balvenie 14-year Peat Week, this is the second time they've done this. So,
woo, love.
Balvenie traditionally doesn't peat. They don't. They like the peat smoke can overwhelm the community. So 1 week a year, they started firing up the peat smokers and smoking their barley.
And what do I advocate that they do?
You want peat month.
Wham, baby, peat month. Just once a year, but make it peat month.
Now, last year, 2002. Well, okay, so last year's bottling was a 2002 vintage, 14-year Peat Week. This is the 2003 vintage, so this is the newest release, just came out. I've heard a couple of other people say that this year's release, the 2003 vintage, is more peated than the 2002 vintage was. This really surprised me. Now, yeah. If you've had the 17-year peated cask Balvenie in the past, you get a faint hint of peat with your traditional Balvenie notes.
Faint.
Now, this one's about 70% peat, 30% Balvenie, I would say.
Mark's asking about you like the 14 peat better than the 10. And I'm thinking,
then what 10?
Yeah, is there a Balvenie 10? Because if so, I haven't had it. If that's what he's talking about, I'm not sure. If there's a Balvenie 10, I have not had it.
Now, I pulled up a couple of comments that we got on the video. And the first one is from Mr. Lewis, Jeff Lewis. He's one of our Patreon backers. He's up in the Kansas City area.
Mm-hmm.
And he got his shout out in the video as well. So he says, thanks for the shout out, dummies. Glad to be a supporter.
Double strap.
He's looking forward to meeting us in October. He's got tickets to come down. He says, a note on this review. I think I have a misprinted labeling of the Peat Week 14. If you would have placed this in front of me blind, I would have confidently identified it as a well-crafted Highland malt. I can't find a hint of peat, he says. When you compared it to Lagavulin 8, I about lost my coffee. No ash, no smoke. It just doesn't exist in my bottle. Okay, so he does say that at the end. I hadn't seen that. He goes, so he said, ours is the 2003 vintage. He says his is a 2002. Could be the difference. So yeah, he's got the older bottling. Which this one though is I don't know why the older one wouldn't have near as much peat. I mean, I could see a little bit. And then DH Silv 2, he comments, he says, unreal. I bought this last night. I don't even want to admit how much I've drank already. This is my whiskey of the year so far. Absolutely a perfect dram.
Yeah, it's in the run-in for my top 5 at the end of the year, I'm sure.
But he goes, and then he comments again. That was his first comment. And he comes back. He says, I actually did a 5-way against this with 3 Ardbegs and Port Charlotte. The Balvenie stood out as firmly the best of the 3. I mean, firmly. It was just outstanding. He says, I rarely think you guys underrate, but I could have seen you both at a 95. That is, I think, one of the first times we've been accused of underscoring. And I replied, I said, well, you've had more than we have if he's drank that. He said, I've drank a lot of this.
Yeah.
We haven't had that. Now, I could see it going up.
It's really good. It's really, really good. I mean, it just is. And again, you know, I kind of go back to this phrase before, but the under promise, over deliver. Again, you're right. When I had the Balvenie 17, the Peat 17, the peat's in there, but it was a subtler. You know, it wasn't a peat hitter. It was good. It was good.
Right.
And I thought that's what I was in line for again. Maybe a little bit of a slight punch up just because it wasn't as old. It wasn't, you know, the longer you age the peated, the milder it gets. But this, yeah, this is right in my peat wheelhouse.
Yeah, and that's what surprised me as well. The other one being the old 17-year peated cask, which is discontinued. When I bought this, I was like, okay, let's kind of see. I was kind of hoping there was more peat in there than that one, and just blown away by it. So, like I say, I think this is 70% peat, 30% Balvenie.
Well, look at look at Lana. Lana Lou says, at Robert Horovitz, nice choice. I'm through 2 bottles, and I rarely drink peated. So, you know what this has the opportunity to do is really open up, I think, that peat door for a lot of folks that normally just like to keep it closed. I think they're going to get a really, really nice peat in a package that is accessible to those non-peat drinkers.
Yeah, $90 to $100 in our area anyway, and I think that's about what I've been hearing online with it. Now, I should have looked closer when we did the review, because on the tin can, and I reference it, there's a chart with all these highlighted numbers and infographics. Well, this is the weeks, because they do it a different week each year. So across the top of the chart are the different years, and then the weeks, basically the calendar listed out, and then what year what week they peated that year. So this one, the 2003 vintage, they fired up the stills, and I can't read it, but it's week 34 basically, which is the number printed on the can as well, 34 of 52 in red ink.
Doesn't it look like one of them at the bottom there, they did it for 2 weeks?
Different years. Yeah, but it might be, yeah, that's week 50, both years, 2005 and 2006.
Oh, I see. Yep, you're right. 05, 06, they did it in the same week.
Yep. Oh, look at 07, though. They didn't do a week, so that second. Oh, no, wait, 07, they didn't. They just didn't do it. They didn't do a peat week in 07. Wonder how come.
Now, there's a little stamp right by Peat Week that says 34-52. Do you have that as well? It's in red.
Yeah, that's week 34 of 52 for this year.
Oh, okay.
2003. Yep.
Got it.
And this is bottled at 48.3% as well, folks. So a little bit higher ABV. It's delicious. Really reminiscent to me of the Lagavulin 12 2017 year. A lot of vanillas, more honeys, some of the traditional Balvenie stuff in here with the peat.
Yeah, a little bit of pipe tobacco on the finish.
The peat isn't harsh. You know what I want to do as well in a video bar, to sit down with some Isla peat and some Highland peat and compare them. Right.
Yep. We definitely need to. You had mentioned that that your ability to pick out the different peats now. Isla, of course, is the big boy, but how's the Highland different? What if they peat somewhere else in this? And I agree with you. I'd be something I'd really be interested in doing as well. Ring a ding.
Yeah, what did I do with cowbell from Whiskey in the Six. Thanks, Rob. Super chat plus I'm donating my next beer to Scott's Head.
Woo!
Travis wants to know if I've opened up the Highland Park of the Dark yet. I have not. That'll be waiting for a special occasion, probably.
Yeah, I on that myself.
Donner Pass Whiskey wants to know if it's about the same level of peat as the Highland Park 12 or higher. No, it's higher.
Yeah,
I'm putting this at 30 to 40 parts per million. You know, where Ardbegs and Lafroigs are 50 to 55. A lot, and I think the Highland Park 12 is like 5 to 10 parts per million. So this is peat. The new Balvenie 14 peat week is peat up front. Get it as soon as you pop the cork, and it's on the palate.
Marty's got a fever. I like Mark Brode. Special occasion. We call that Thursday around his parts. Oh man.
Well, and Mash and Drum, who just started again, we'll give him a shout out. If you guys have been tuning in for a while, you've seen Jason C in some of the comments, some of the chat groups. He just started his own channel. It's called the Mash and Drum. Just posted his first review of Jefferson's Ocean, the weeded whiskey one that just came out. So give that a go. Under the Mash and Drum is the name of his channel. But he says he just got in. He's mainly bourbon. He just started getting into Scotch, and his first peated dram was an Ardbeg. He was not prepared for that, he said.
Here, Tom R's got a great description. I feel like we're kin. Bart, Highland Pete is more like a small child in a diesel quad runner in a backyard flower bed, not the big boy 4x4 busting up the whole field of flowers. That's a little bit of combo of your tasting notes too.
Yeah.
So
there's a nice, I mean, there's just such a nice honey and vanilla sweetness with the peat on this.
Yes. Well, I liked it when I talked about just slapping you, hitting me in the face with the peat clod, slapping me around. Then when I open my mouth, you shove in a little honeycomb and then hit me with some more peat and then slip in a little bit of Mexican vanilla extract. Bam. We need to do a commercial like that.
Yep. I agree. That'd be a good one. Donner Pass Whiskey says he's just starting on peat with the HP 12, and he thinks the Klein Leash 14 is up next. Jason Coates points out Klein Leash 14 has a trace of peat at best. I didn't think it had any peat. I don't think if someone has told you Klein Leash 14 is peated, I don't think so.
I can't pick out subtle peat anymore.
Yeah, you can't.
Sounded very sexual there, Bart. Sure.
I did like in today's review though of the Balvenie, you were talking and you're like, yeah, it's like you're hitting me in the face with the deal of peat, like pow, pow, and then you take some honey and you like pop it in my mouth. I'm like, oh, there's some honey, that's good too. Then you take the peat, and pow, pow. Then you're like, here's some vanilla extract. Wow, that's good too.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I got all crazy. You're kind of looking at me funny at the end, like, what the hell? I'm like, it went there. I'm telling you, we need a commercial where I just put on like some swimmer goggles and then boom, I get hit with peat and honeycomb and vanilla and some more peat. Be perfect. We got to put these tasting notes that we describe in visual form.
Yeah, and Loch Ness has a good point. He says the Highland Park 12 is really good. Once you get into the heavy peat, you will hardly notice the peat in Highland Park 12.
Yep.
Highland Park 12 is a good intro to peat, though. I mean, it's got a faint. I think it's around 5 to 10 parts per million. It's very faint. It's very light. It comes in. You know, the Springbank 10, though, in the same realm, very light peat.
Yeah. I think Broda's going to bed.
Mark from the Dummies. Night, Mark. He doesn't say he's going to bed. He just says good night.
Oh, sorry. I guess his battery's dying. I think
Tom R wants to see. Well, Tom R says, Bart, when you get to Scotland, I expect to see a picture of you covered in mud playing in the peat fields.
Ooh, that might happen.
Would you strip down to your skivvies and run through?
I don't know about the skivvies. You throw on a good European like Speedo, or maybe what do they call the little tiny swimsuit?
Yeah, the Speedo.
Is it a Speedo?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'd be better in a singlet.
I'm gonna go back to the Highland or the Springbank 12 cast strength that's been sitting here. I'm gonna go back to it.
Telmar says it's a slingshot. Well, I don't know if they'd let me back in Scotland if I ran around in a peat bog just wearing a Speedo. I'd probably be a banana hammock. I don't think Scott would let me get too crazy. It'd be like, we're going to get banned. Actually, he would. You'd be like, then maybe only I can come back.
The slingshot.
Yeah, I will tell you, the bad things can happen. We once had a rodeo star. I can't remember his name. He was in some rodeo in Denver, and I lived in the mountains. And then he went up camping somewhere. And, of course, they started drinking, probably good whiskey. And somebody bet him that he couldn't ride an elk if they got one. And he said, I'll take that bet. And they found them an elk. They roped it. He rode it. And they, I don't know if they got film or video or photos, but he got fined a lot of money for that. I think it was on some kind of national forest. They did not like the wildlife being treated to a 8-second ride. But even though I can't remember his name, it made him pretty famous. I can't imagine getting on an elk. The rack would just kill you. I don't know how they did it. But he rode it.
Richie Z is asking how the food was at Whiskey Cake in Oklahoma City. It's very good. I had the OMG burger, and I literally said, oh, my God, when I took my first bite. It was really good. One of the best burgers I've ever had. Yeah, I know Swami had duck wings, and he said they were pretty darn good as well.
Duck wings. Yeah, when you said it's the best burger you ever had, you've had what, the Venezuelan street burger.
Oh, yeah. Hamburguesa.
Yeah, hamburguesa
too.
Yeah. We got a chef buddy, and that's a good burger.
George Kaplan says he likes the Glendronach peated for Highland peat, but this Balvenie 14 Peat Week 2003 is something special, he says. What did so yesterday was your birthday, Bart, and before we went live, you said you had a story you was going to go back to your childhood and tell me, and then you said you'll wait till we go live.
God dang, now I can't even remember. You know how my memory works. Because I do remember I was going to tell you something. Oh, I got it. So as a kid, Mom was great. When it was your birthday, and my birthday obviously is July 28th, so there's no school in, you got to pick your food choices for the meal. So we only got like one pretty nice gift and then like a little small one, but you got to pick your food choices. So for breakfast, I love Mom's homemade cinnamon rolls. Unbelievable. So I asked Liz, hey, is there any way you could find some of these? We've got a Amish community not too far away. They make Yoder cinnamon rolls that are just unbelievably good. So I kind of threw out, hey, any way to get those? I was too busy, couldn't get those. That's all right. No big deal. I can't remember what we did for lunch. I'm sure it was simple, and my mom loved this. For whatever reason, I love sloppy joes. So for my dinner, I always wanted sloppy joes. My mom was like, that's great, because that's ground beef with some sauce thrown in. I can do that.
Sauce from a can. You just throw it on there and heat it up.
Sauce from a can. I'd have the buddies over for the birthday party, and she could feed hordes of kids with that stuff. So I'd ask for that, and she's like, all right, we'll do that. Well, then she asked my stepdaughter, hey, can you stop by and pick that up? Now, the stepdaughter's always trying to like, you know what, that's good, but I think you could do better. So instead, she showed up with this pulled pork sandwich stuff, which was good. It was good. And you'd never want to look a gift horse in the mouth, but I'm like, hey, I just wanted a little bit of sloppy Joe. It's good. You know, and of course, Liz like, hey, she thought she was doing you better than the sloppy Joe. I'm like, that's good. But when I asked for sloppy Joe, I mean, a pulled pork sandwich is nice. I get it. So, but that was it. Yeah, that was it. No Yoder cinnamon roll. Those are good. And no sloppy Joe. But I got Balvenie peat wheat. So that makes up for everything.
Lewis, I went back to the Springbank a little bit ago. Lewis Sanchez said I was messing up because it wasn't going to be as good, and I shouldn't even go back to it. And I said, well, I wasn't that impressed with it to begin with.
We're hoping it opens up.
It isn't. It's just literally, it's just not good. I mean, it's okay. It's not bad. It's
sure. It's got a little funk in it though.
Yeah.
Danny just made some sloppy joes last week. I'm telling you, it's great sandwich. I wish I'd had one recently. I saw something with cinnamon rolls. Hold on, where was it? Oh yeah, the mash and drum. Great. Now I want a cinnamon roll. You need to get one from anybody in Amish country. If you're anywhere near Lancaster, Pennsylvania, hello. That's some Amish country.
For those tuning in, we'll give a little teaser for Wednesday's show. We won't open it, but Stranahan Sherry Cask, Rocky Mountain, Colorado single malt whiskey. And it was good.
It was good. See, Bed's calling some people, Scotch for Dummies.
Yep, that was a late night. We got a late start tonight. So
it is my fault. Any Amish in Tampa? I don't know.
Anything else we need to talk about? We talked about October.
Oh, you know what? When we're in October, though, I want to mention, too, if you book your room, we've got the discounted rooms at the Drury Inn. Really nice, totally refurbished hotel that's been around for, I think, 100 years. I've got us pop in there and get some photos. Their front room has this huge elongated, all these little couches and half chairs and just a comfortable hangout area, easily handling 80 people, maybe even a little more. Might get a little noisy in there. But when I asked them, I said, hey, I see that as a gathering point where our whiskey fans are going to be hanging out. We're going to be hanging out. There's going to be just talking and I know they're going to want to bring their bottles down and share some drams. He said that's fine. Usually it's not within their policy guidelines, but it's not in their food and drink areas. So there's absolutely no legal regulations against having a bottle there, and it's inside their building. They also have a real nice patio area, but that might be part of the restaurant area, so I'm not sure. But that seating area, I just pictured it full of everybody, all our fans, all these whiskey fans sharing bottles, hanging out. And I think there'll be some beautiful hangouts just happening there on top of the two main organized things we have. And I'll get some photos shot of that. It just looks like a beautiful hangout area.
Well, and a couple of questions. Mark Brown has asked how many signups we have so far. I think we're at 22 or 23 so far. We haven't really started pushing it. One of the local whiskey clubs just put it up on their Facebook page. And then Saturday night, where we're having it, All Things Barbecue, the owner there, or one of the owners, co-owners, is part of another whiskey club. A lot of those guys will be jumping in as well. Tickets are available for Saturday night. Lana, I think you have yours for sure already. She was asking.
Yeah. And one of the guys from the slightly smaller group already hit me up for some details. So I'm sure they're getting briefed on it.
Good. A couple questions about the Stranahans. Jason Coates is asking, or Jason Coates has been eyeballing it. It's very good. I will tell you, there's a little, if you're sulfur sensitive, you might not like it. We both picked up a little bit of sulfur on it. I didn't find it offensive. I liked it in there with it. And then someone, Donner Pass Whiskey is saying, since it's a single malt, is it just 51% barley? It's not a straight malt whiskey. It's a single malt. So by what I'm thinking, it should be, and I believe Stranahan's is 100% barley.
Yeah, 100% on theirs there. Their Snowflake, I think they do different stuff with. That's the one they play around with, and you've got to stand in line, queue up for days.
They do a distillery release, annual release only. And fact is, we have a guy from Colorado Springs. I'll just say Wes. He's got tickets. He's coming back, and he's bringing a bottle of Snowflake with him.
In October, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go. You might even be able to buddy up and get a little taste of the Snowflake if you come in October.
Lewis is asking if that's the smoked one. I don't know if that's the smoked one or not.
If I remember right, they do different things with the Snowflake all the time. That's the whole point, is that it's unique. It's like a one-off. So I think you never quite know what they've done with it, if I remember right. Gohab said Swami is live in bed.
That's not good. Yeah, we're about ready to sign off, I think. Anyway, we're 47 minutes. How you feeling, Bart?
A little tired. Let's give it about 3 and we'll shut her down at 10:50.
Hey, well, Donner Pass asks, Swami went live. Can we bring him on? We would have to send him an invite. We could try real quick and have a check in with Swami and see how he's doing on his cross country trek. But he's going to have to sign off of his live.
Well, I wouldn't want to take him off his live if he's already in bed. All right.
Nope.
Good. I love Sloppy Joe. Me too, brother. Me too.
Moose Chun, you betcha.
I always say Moss, I guess.
I made some homemade Philly cheesesteaks tonight, and they were pretty darn good.
Woo. Good.
Ever win tuning in?
Yep. Late for me, guys. Fair winds. I think that means he's on his way out. Why don't we sign off and we can hand it over to Swami?
Yeah, everybody go over to, if you want to check in, Malted in Montreal on his channel. Swami's going cross country through the States on Route 66, him and a buddy on motorcycles. They're on day 10 or so now, I believe. So thanks to everybody that tuned in. Appreciate it. Go check out scotchtestdummies.com. Support us by picking up a glass, a coin. By the way, we got Scotch for Dummies started selling coins as well. Whiskey hats, as we call them, challenge coins. You can go to Scotch for Dummies, I believe, and check out their coins.
Alana, I was sampling my samples today that I got from you. Scott has not been over yet.
What samples?
He doesn't know what he's got yet, Lana. But there's matching samples for you on some very nice particular stuff, and a glass that will look just like this for you as well. So, yeah, there he goes. What samples? He doesn't know, Lana, especially that Compass Box one. He's not aware of that one at all.
Oh, look at Wes. Wes is tuning in. He says, thanks for the shout out, Scott. Snowflake. Oh, he's got a 1.75 liter Mount Evans release that he's bringing with him in October. He's been waiting to open it.
Nice.
Now, Wes also, he was interviewed. Mark Gillespie made one of the openings. It was last year or the year before. And he was talking to some people in line, and Wes was got interviewed on Whiskey Cast about standing in line waiting for the Snowflake edition.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's become like its own little event. We get big enough, we'll have to go cover it.
And Donner Pass Whiskies, Trinity and C, they're selling coins now too. Yep. So we like it. We had, a few guys felt like they were intrude. We were friends with a lot of these guys. And we'd been telling them for a while to the coins really help support the show. They cost just a little bit of money, and they help support the show, help keep us going. We sell a lot of coins, and we've been telling a few of the guys, hey, get your coins, get them going. We think it helps drive interest in them. I mean, if someone wants one of our coins, they may want, whiskey in the 6 coin. They may want the Scotch for Dummies or Trinity and C's.
Mm-hmm.
And but a few of the guys felt like they were intruding in our territory because we were the only ones selling them. Really. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but just go to, Scotch for Dummies and check them out. Just buying a coin or two really helps support the show. Same with Trinity and C.
Oh, there's Malted.
Oh, there's Swami. Yeah.
We're trying to bring him over to you,
Swami. We were getting ready to close her out, sir, but somebody said you was naked in bed with that chest hair hanging out.
Live in bed with a motorcycle. Yeah, that's right. All right. They all want malted in Montreal pogs. Yes. All right, let's get out of here so they can go over to Swami.
All right. Thanks to everybody that tuned in. And yeah, Rob, you're a friend, I think.
What? Scotch It, you Scotch gods.
Hold on. So long, you dummies. New Rocks glasses. Check them out.
Glass.
Thanks, everybody tuned in.
See you guys.
Go over Swami, go back live. Everybody go to Malted in Montreal.
Yeah, you're in bed.